Welcome back to LimQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit every day until the sequel Tears of the Kingdom comes out, which is today in 62 days. Pretty close now to the 50s, which is going to be very exciting. Now, I want to talk about a new theory today that I kind of started thinking about after yesterday's video. In yesterday's video, I showed something, and I'm going to show it here again today. That's going to make it make more sense. If you put down a Key's eyeball, you get basically the exact same visual from the homing arrow from the Tears of the Kingdom trailer, which made me think that there's maybe a little hint in Breath of the Wild towards the teaser. But I looked at the Key's ball item description, and it says, doesn't really look like much, but it must be good for something. Now, most people said, yeah, I mean, that probably means that you can turn it in for Mon at Kilton, the guy that collects monster parts, and that makes sense. But I actually went back to find some early screenshots from Breath of the Wild, and there's some screenshots from the game's demo, where it in fact actually says that there might be a collector that's interested in these Key's eyes. I'm gonna link my tweet on Twitter below where I kind of found this. And I thought that's incredibly interesting, which means they had changed the text at one point to specifically note that it's good for something instead of being just an item that Kilton might collect. Now, there's a couple other items that have undergone this change. One specific interesting one, I don't know if I have it on this file right now, I don't, is a piece of ember, which in the early version basically just said that it can be traded in for rupees, but in the new version, in this version of the game, says that it was used for crafting in ancient times, specifically pointing out crafting. And a lot of the other monster parts, horns sometimes guts, have the similar interesting line. Now, you could argue all of this basically just tells you, I mean, okay, this is just so you know that you can trade these items in at Kilton. And technically that makes sense. But there is other items in the game that still specifically refer to Kilton. So I was wondering, why did these items undergo the change? And this is where I'm gonna present to you my theory, which is that crafting items was actually something that was planned for Breath of the Wild's DLC. And when the game was basically getting prepared for launch, these texts were basically translated so that they would be in the right place for when the DLC comes out and maybe allows us to use these items as crafting ingredients. Again, this could obviously, like every theory, be completely wrong. Maybe those texts were just mistranslated and had undergone a change in translation between the beta and the version now. I actually did check out the German text, and they also went through those changes though. It went from something more not precise to specifically mentioning that some of these items have hidden uses or are used for crafting, which makes it even more interesting to me. I do also need to kind of keep in check where I'm going. I'm kind of... It's hard sometimes to explain things that are not in my native language, and also trying to play the game. But that makes me a little bit more confident that this theory might have some truth to it. Now, why was crafting scrapped is obviously the question, right? And this could be the answer to our original comments we got for Tears of the Kingdom being a game in the first place. If you guys remember, Tears of the Kingdom originally started out as a DLC idea, or a bunch of DLC ideas, and the developers were like, wait, we have so many ideas, we might as well just make a full game, like a new game with it. Now, I think crafting in particular is the sort of thing that kind of seems like an addition, like just making another Breath of the Wild, but add crafting doesn't feel like enough. But maybe that was one of those ideas that the developers had very early on, was maybe even scheduled to be added in the original DLC, but then removed again because it wasn't fleshed out enough and was actually rescheduled to Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe that's why these item texts were changed. So let me just propose a theoretical timeline. Again, I'm not saying, guys, I figured it out. This is what happened. I don't know. I'm just kind of suggesting this theory, suggesting this timeline. So let's say Nintendo brings out Breath of the Wild. They're at the stage where they get to the demo, right? They bring out the demo and they get a lot of feedback from playtesting to basically people saying, you know, this game is really fun, but the durability mechanic, I don't know about that one. It's like kind of frustrating, kind of annoying, and I wish you could do something about that. And maybe this is feedback that is actually considered in the team. And they say, you know what if we also add some sort of crafting system? Maybe we can take some of these like overworld items like the keys eyeball to craft arrows, to make it easier for people. And we've already seen these like new mysterious horns in the Tears of the Kingdom trailer that kind of look like weapons. Maybe they had this idea and said, yo, why not introduce crafting into the game? That might solve our problem with weapon durability. We could still have weapon durability in place, but not make people feel as anxious. They always have an option to get a new weapon if they need to. And as the game gets closer to release, they decide, you know what, we make a DLC. We are not gonna wait, I have this Korok? Wait, no, I don't have this Korok. I was really wait, do I or no? No, I don't. There's gotta be a race here somewhere. That's what I'm looking for. There it is. This one is really hidden. They say, you know what? We'll make it, we put in the DLC. We introduce crafting in the DLC. We're planning on releasing that anyway. Let's do it. And maybe that's at the time where they change some item texts because they know the DLC is gonna come out. Actually, in fact, at the first day when Breath of the Wild came out and nobody knew how well the Switch was gonna do or how well the game was gonna do, there was already DLC in the game. For example, the chest next to the Great Plateau where you can get an early ruby was in the game day one. The DLC chest here, the Switch shirt was in the game day one. Like you could immediately get the DLC, and maybe even at that point they were like, yeah, we're adding crafting at this point. But let's say, and again, this is all just my suggestive theory, maybe they realize, oh wow, the Switch is a hit. This game is getting 10 out of 10s everywhere. People already love it despite the potential flaws of the durability. We're selling a bunch of copies and we have so many other DLC ideas. And the crafting, I don't know, we weren't really happy with that yet. We didn't really have it quite fleshed out. So how about we make Tears of the Kingdom? It looks like we are making our money back here with Breath of the Wild. So maybe that's when the idea for Tears of the Kingdom started. The item texts may have already been changed, thinking that it would be introduced during the DLC. Again, early DLC stuff was already in the game, like that chest, but it was eventually pushed back. Now, again, I think this is a theory that makes a decent amount of sense. Again, not claiming that this is what actually happened. Let me know what you think. If you believe this is true, if you believe there's a chance that this is true. I want to give you some other item descriptions that you can go over to maybe, support this theory a little bit. And that's going to be, like I said, try reading the one for Ember, specifically the one for the Bokoblin Guts really stood out to me. The one for the Keys Eyeball, I obviously already talked about, which we basically know at this point is going to be part of crafting in Tears of the Kingdom. That homing arrow looks literally exactly the same. And look at the Octorok Eyeball. I don't think I have one of those. They're pretty rare. It has the same cryptic thing standing there where it says something like it must have another use for something. Another super interesting one is the Molduga. I don't know if it was Guts or Fin. One of those items says something along the lines of the hidden use of this is shrouded in mystery. Like really weird, honestly. It doesn't make sense that all of these item texts, and I feel like I'm only noticing those item text boxes now, knowing that crafting looks to be something that will be a thing in Tears of the Kingdom. So I think it's really interesting. And that Moblin skeleton, I'm not sure if you just saw it, died on spawn and then clipped through the floor and fell out of the world. It's actually still falling. That's unfortunate. I'm pretty sure that down here, there is its head. Yeah. I'm sorry, buddy. Oh. That was also interesting. I couldn't actually aim down far enough. Right, let me actually focus on getting some Koroks done. Sorry, I feel like I didn't do the best job of explaining this topic today. I'm kind of, like I said, in the process in this playthrough where I'm going along the world and get these extra Korok seeds I still need to get. So I'm trying to find where to go, trying to actually do it fast, explain you my theory in a different language. So I'm sorry if I'm a little slow. but I think I still managed to get my point across. Maybe crafting was planned to be originally in the game, even in the original DLC. Why else are these item texts so weird? And maybe there's a little bit of insight in how the decision making for the creation of Tears of the Kingdom actually went down. That was really weird. Dinra like appeared, then he disappeared, and now he's there again. Do I actually... This is a good point. Do I have a Dinral scale? I do. Okay, because I still need to get those shrines out of the way, if I remember correctly. That's another thing that I need to think about. How about Farosh's scale? Okay, that's something I still need to get. Good to know.
Revali's scale.
Speaking of which, I don't think I have actually placed a star here yet. I basically place stars on locations I still need to revisit to get shrines. Might as well get it out of the way. And then I'm gonna just quickly get the Korok seed up here. Also, Revali is here just in time. At the puzzle, then the shrine up ahead, and then one more Korok in the corner. That way we should reach around 85% now. Lots of Starl enemies around today again. And that would be a good point to stop. Now, it is starting to be the weekend again. Also, I'm currently actively working. I'm not streaming at the moment when you're watching this video. I'm currently actively working on a really cool YouTube video I am very happy so far about. I think it's gonna be one of my most entertaining videos I've ever made, where I played 7 Zelda clones you've never heard of. I have already had a ton of funny moments happen. So I can't wait to release that. That should be out next week. And then when that video is out, we are already in the 50s. I keep hyping up 50s because I think that's really when it starts to hit you. Tears of the Kingdom is close. Obviously, once we hit the 30-day period, it's going to be more insane. Also, I have this Korok already. You don't need to write a comment. Again, I plan these episodes out now. Yeah, 50s is, I feel like, where it's really starting to hit how close Tears of the Kingdom is. And then the 30s are going to be even crazier because then it's within the final month. Also, by the way, thank you so much for everyone giving your opinion on what would truly count as a Breath of the Wild 100% playthrough. I think I kind of changed my definition a little bit thanks to the comments. And I have a pretty good plan on what I'm going to be doing in April when I'm trying to do a full casual playthrough, no glitches, not even whistle sprinting. Like, I try to go as vanilla as possible and really play like slow, you know, like look at the scenery, watch the cutscenes, read the dialogue, something that I have not done in a long time. And I think that's going to be really fun. But again, thank you for giving me your perspective on what you think would qualify. I think I got some new ideas for myself that I didn't really think about before, like getting one of each item, even weapon and shield. That makes a lot of sense, so that you no longer have any question marks when you pick something up. And somebody even pointed out, I think it was Sean, a friend of mine that also does Zelda challenge runs, that it would be a good idea to talk to every NPC once, because only at that point their name appears above their head. Like, this is something I've never thought about, but I think that does really feel right for a completionist's sake. Okay, all of this filler out of the way. My main theory was already finished earlier into the video. I'm gonna get this last Korok seed here at this rock circle. Whoa! This is crazy. Very busy tonight here in Hyrule. Then this is a perfect place to stop, because you would normally be warping away from here anyway. So let's quickly get this one, check our map one more time, and then I'll call it a day. Tears of the Kingdom out in 61 days tomorrow during the next episode. Thank you as always for hanging out. We are at 85.27%. I'm glad that I finished up this annoying branch here in the canyon. However, tomorrow, that means we are heading into the last branch of Hebra. Well, kind of. In this area, there's one more, technically, branch where you go down to the Forgotten Temple, but that's not happening yet. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.